Coming up on Dr. Kiki's Science Hour, we're talking about where the Science Hour has been and where it should go in its next year. That's up next on Dr. Kiki's Science Hour.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Dr. Kiki's Science Hour is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Dr. Kiki's Science Hour with Dr. Kiki. That's me. Episode number 53 for Monday, July 5th, 2010. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. This episode of Dr. Kiki's Science Hour is brought to you by Carbonite. Backing up the files on your PC or Mac is safe and easy with Carbonite. For a free trial plus 2 free months with purchase, go to carbonite.com. Offer code Kiki. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Dr. Kiki's Science Hour. I'm Dr. Kiki Sanford, and this is the Science Hour. It's episode 53. We are just past our anniversary for 1 year. 1 year of doing the Science Hour. So in honor of this milestone, I would like to make this show all about you. The questions I'm dealing with today are: how do you think the last year has been? What do you want from the next year? Is there much more I can do? Can I change it up? Can I make it better? Because I want to make this show an even better show. I want to create something that brings you more into the sciencey world around you. I want you to be excited about what you're seeing, what you're hearing, and I want to give you what you want to learn. So, people in the chat room, thank you for the happy birthday wishes. That's right. Happy birthday, happy birthday. It is a happy birthday. And so what we're going to do today is I have received a whole bunch of emails. I have comments on my blog. There are Twitter comments. And I also have a phone line for you, which I forgot to put up, but I forgot to make a little lower third to make it easy for you to figure out where to call and how to call. But I'll be giving you the number in just a little while so that you can call in and talk to me personally and let me know live on the air how things are going. What would you like to see? What can we do? Respond to other viewers, other audience members' ideas. Let's have an open conversation. That's what I'm trying to do today. Bring you into the fold. Come on. Let's make it up. Let's make it good. So let's get started. I would love to start with some email. So who writes in first? David Eckerd. David Eckerd writes in and says, 1 year already? Yes, it's been 1 year. Thank you for writing in and sticking with me for a year. He suggests, how about the Mythbusters for a show? It's a possible idea. Maybe Carrie Byron. She's doing some interesting science-y programming. And I think my neighbor is one of the Mythbusters. I think so. Yeah, we could figure something out. It could be fun. I know that Adam Savage is kind of allied with the Twit army, that he has been a part of the Mac programming here at Twit. So maybe we could get maybe a Carrie Byron, Adam Savage, Mythbusters kind of thing going, or we'll figure it out. See what you guys think. Let me know if you would like something like that, kind of the fun side of science programming. He also moves on to say that he just listened to John Ringo's Live Free or Die, Troy Rising. And among other things, he builds lots of mirrors in space, a battle station to protect Terrans, and the Sol system that weighs 2.2 trillion tons. Can you even get your head around that? Yeah. The characters say that just a lot because it's hard to wrap your head around that large of a number. The book is military science fiction and a good bit of hard science fiction talking to John might be fun. What does he do to get scientific figures and facts in his book right? Lighter weight than pure science, but then science fiction is why so many of those scientists got into science in the first place. And that's true. So what do you guys think about possibly having the science of science fiction? Would that be fun? Get some science fiction writers in, see what they have to say about how they create their worlds and how they use science, and then add to it with fiction, imagination, creativity. It's kind of a neat idea, and I kind of like it. I have another idea here. I would love to go to my Google Voice and read and send you a recording, play you a recording of a listener who called in and left me a voicemail. So let me see about finding that very quickly. Google Voice. Here we are. Okay, everybody ready for the first message? This message, make sure I have that turned on. This message is from Chris in Orlando, Florida.
Hi, Dr. Kiki. This is Chris Clark in Orlando, Florida. And I was wondering if maybe you could do something about the water purification, advances in purifying water, desalination, things like that. It's always, being here in Florida surrounded by salt water and not having very much groundwater is always a bone of contention with me here. So, all right, great show. Thanks, bye.
Thank you very much for calling in, Chris. That was it's a great question. Water purification and desalination are going to be some huge issues as we move forward, as more and more as water levels go up, as more and more groundwater is contaminated from those rising levels from agricultural runoff for all sorts of reasons. So it could be a very interesting program. So I will look into trying to find somebody for water purification. Someone in the chat room is bringing up the idea of fluoride in the water supply. And that's something that somebody brought up in one of my Justin TV science chats, which I do every Friday at 12 noon Pacific time, is the question of how safe is fluoride in our drinking water. And that question came up, and I've read some different comments, different ideas about that. Nothing very recently. I haven't looked into it, but it's definitely something to find out whether or not is it good for us? Is it bad for us? Why is it in our drinking water? If it is bad for us, why are people all worried about it if it's not bad for us? So these are questions that could be really interesting to answer as well. I don't know. We'll see what people think. And I think that was my only Google Voice message. I left my voicemail message out there for everyone. Let's see, what else do we have? Somebody in the chat room switched to well water and is now all about overthrowing the government. I grew up on well water, and that didn't necessarily make me want to overthrow the government since childhood. So I don't know if that's necessarily, I don't know if those things necessarily go together. Yes. Should I turn on Skype, Dr. Mom? Oh, yes, the scientific method. Dr. Mom, who has been a member of the Twit Army and been watching this show for the last year, she's been a wonderful, wonderful voice of reason in the chat room for so long, and it's just been great to have her involvement. She has said that what we need is to have a show about the scientific method and how science gets published, because how many people really know how science, the stuff that you read in the newspaper or in a magazine or on the web, I guess I shouldn't say newspaper because they're kind of going away now, but how often do you think about where that news comes from? How long did it take for that story to get to that media outlet? So would that be something that people would be interested in? possibly talking about the scientific method and stuff. URL Wallace says that it's a great idea. So it could be something, it could be a great episode that would definitely be useful for teachers, for lots of people who want to let people know how science and the peer review method actually works. And moving on, what was I looking for? Where's Safari? So I was looking for, very quickly, TalkShoe. TalkShoe is who we are using for you to call in, and I'm going to give you the number right now. So let me know. I'm going to change up this little lower third here. TalkShoe. And I've got lots of... You are going to dial 1-724-444-7444. And then you're going to enter the caller ID 85027 #. And that is what you need to call in through TalkShoe. So right now, if you want to call in and talk with me, I have the lines open. You can dial in long distance, or you can use Skype or whatever it is that you use. The phone number is 724-444-7444. Enter the call ID 85027 #. And I forgot the PIN number. That's important as well. The PIN number is 813-979 6190 #. There we go. So caller ID 85027 followed by the #, the PIN number 813-979 6190 followed by the #. And I'd love to hear your calls and hear what you have to say. We already have somebody, guest number 3, on the line. Let's see if they are available. Logged into the chat. You're here, but are you wanting to call? That is the question. Nope, there you go. Left the chat. Guest number 3 is in and out. So you can call from anywhere. You can use Skype. You can use your phone if you want to call using your phone. Once again, the phone number is 1-724-444-7444. Caller ID 85027 followed by the #. PIN number 813-979 6190 followed by the #. And I will take your calls as they come in. And we have North Georgia on the line. Let's see if I can... North Georgia, let me see if I can get you in there. Are you there?
Oh, hi. I'm sorry. Hello, Dr. Kiki.
Hello. How are you?
We are in the Atlanta portion of North Georgia.
Ah, very good. I've been through Atlanta in the airport, and that's about it. Thanks for calling.
Yes, the joke around Atlanta is that you, even if you go to hell, you got to go through the Atlanta airport.
Sounds about right. I think everything flies through there.
I'm fairly new to the whole twit world, but I'm enjoying it. I can't get to enjoy it in the daytime, of course, because I have a job and I can't do that. But is your, and I've seen a few of your shows. Is it always news, like hot science in the news oriented, or are you doing a little bit of everything?
Well, I've tried to mix it up. So Dr. Kiki's Science Hour has been topical science in the sense that each episode is based around an interview with one expert in one subject. And then This Week in Science, which is my other show, that show is we delve into the top science news stories for the week.
Oh, okay, all right. See, I'm sorry, I'm fairly ignorant. I was mainly calling to say that in the shows that you're on, it's just we have a radio station here, WRIS in Atlanta, that's a student station that I advise, but I've been in the business for a while, and it's just such a pleasure to see you and hear you, because you're so nice and you're so kind to people, and it's just a pleasure to watch you on the air. It's nice, but it sounds like you've got it. It sounds like you've got it covered, a longer form. Sometimes I would like to see or hear, since a lot of us are busy and we just don't have enough time to spend 30 minutes or an hour on some of the shows, which I don't. It would be nice to have maybe a short form thing at least once a week, so that you could get it in a smaller amount of time, I guess. But in addition to everything else.
Yeah, that's something I've thought about a little bit, seeing if that could be incorporated somewhere. I do like the idea, because you're right. Not everybody has a long commute or that time in the day to be able to watch the longer shows. I mean, I certainly don't. I try, but I don't. And a quick bite-sized, maybe not with too much discussion, but just really fast-paced, bite-sized science tidbits.
That would be nice. Anyway, I just wanted to say hi. It's nice to hear you and see you, and I'll keep watching.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate your call.
Thanks. Have fun.
Yes, you too. Have a great evening, afternoon. I guess it's evening where he is.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, so that's an interesting suggestion. Guest 5 is just visiting and doesn't want to talk. Thank you for joining in the chat room from TalkShoe. Someone else called in, and I muted you just so that I'd make sure not to have anybody talk over anybody else. But I will unmute people, so you will come on the line and basically be on hold until, if you call in, I will probably mute you at first until I'm ready to take you on air, and then as soon as you're unmuted, I will say hello and you'll hear me, and then we can talk about whatever ideas you have, because that is the idea today. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want out of the Science Hour. I put up a blog post on my website, and from that, I have a number of comments that people have made with their suggestions for things that we should talk about and what I should cover on the Science Hour. A lot of people saying that it doesn't seem like it's been a year already, but it has. More world robot domination. So I take that into advisement. That's right. More world robot domination. I will do that. I will look into that. Mace says that he'd like to see more science about current events like the oil spill and other things that might come up, and maybe some repeat guests. Phil Plait is so good. I would love to see him more often, as well as Ray Maxwell. I do want everyone to know that it is in my mind, my plans, to invite Ray Maxwell on and possibly have him be a regular guest on the Science Hour. An irregular guest? I don't know. We'll see. But I believe he has some really interesting topics he can talk about, and we could have a lot of fun discussing science of all sorts of different topics. So I am going to work this year to bring you Ray Maxwell, because he is a wonderful voice of logic and science. But in terms of the current event stuff, I think that kind of, I tried to do something about the oil spill. I had the show last week with Dr. Chris D'Elia from Louisiana State University, and hopefully I'll be able to try and put more of those shows out there. The problem that I run into is having guests scheduled ahead of time for different subjects, and then a current event comes up and I go, do I bump somebody for the current event show, or do I just not cover the current event that won't be current next week? And so why would I do it next week? So these are the kinds of questions that I have to, that I kind of run up against when I'm deciding on topics and scheduling the program. And we have, there's a bunch of people in the call, but none of them look like they are able to talk. Is there anyone in there able to talk? I don't think so right now. Virtuals on Gcast. Oh, Songcast, virtual Songcast. Let's see if I can get that right. Says the science of zombies. And that would be a lot of fun, actually. So kind of along the ideas, along the lines of David Eckerd's suggestion of working with the science of science fiction, how science fiction writers develop their stories based on science and how they use science to their benefit. There is the idea that we could bring in the science of, different movies, science of horror, the science of, the sky's the limit. And we can really, we can make this, the science hour, as serious or as not serious as possible. Let's see. I am reading this chat. I'm looking all over the place. People in the TalkShoe chat room. Guest number 7. Thanks. I'm glad that you are in high school. And guest number 7 says they're a high school student and love the show. I appreciate that. It's really neat to have people of all generations enjoying the show. That's my goal. Try and reach out to as many people as possible. So let me know if there is anything that you really, really, really want. Pez in the chat room is asking for 2012 science. And that's a good point. I do have an email from someone else, and that possibly, I don't know if this is Pez, but I got an email from someone named Chris, and he wrote in saying, I would like to hear about the perfect solar storm that NASA says is due in 2013. And I actually think it's due in 2012 is what they were saying last I heard, unless they've changed the date. How does it overload our entire electrical grid from generating stations to transmission lines to substations to distribution lines, right down to the wiring in your home? It will what is proposed at this point in time is that it will affect any and all electrical circuitry, no matter the size. And will there, the information on the sun cycles, how do the storms cause the problems, the electromagnetic fields, what are the world's governments doing to prepare North America would be my primary concern. Will there be blackouts on days of high activity in order to limit the damage, large areas without power on the coldest days or hottest days? What are utilities doing to prepare? The lack of concern and understanding by the public, the potential of fires from wires shorting out in the home on the utility lines. What can individuals do to protect their Androids, iPhones, TVs, or computers? The solar storm that hit Canada in 1989 and also the perfect solar storm of 1859 might be interesting to discuss. Chris says this is on par with earthquakes, hurricanes, and tsunamis. This is something we should be aware of and prepare for. Our dependence on a stable electrical grid grows by the day. Our day-to-day life requires electrical power. This may turn out to cause only minor problems. Let's hope that this is the case. And he highlights this last sentence saying, I do not intend for this to sound like an end of the world. I think this potential problem is just being overlooked. So he gave me a few links, and as a disclosure, he says he's a lineman for ITC, which I believe is a transmission corporation that works on electrical transmission lines and on the grid. So it would be very interesting to get somebody in to talk about this, because it does the 2012 end of the world scenario and this solar storm scenario do tie in nicely, and people have been discussing it, but it is definitely on the sidelines and not something that has been picked up by the major media and really hashed through and explained and worked out. So that would definitely be an very interesting topic to bring up. Additionally, we could do a debunking. I could maybe bring back Dr. Stephen Novella or who Brian Dunning might be a good guest. Phil Plait could also be a great guest for something like this, to do a debunking episode of the science of 2012 and what's actually happening there. It could be fun. The Paul says that in the chat room says that now that I'm an expert on the Skyposaurus, that's right, expert class here. Not really. How about having two guests and experts on at the same time to debate some hot button issues or stories? A debate would be really fun, actually. Usually what I do is I've had one person on and I try and play devil's advocate or, you know, the unbiased questioner in the situation. And I've done that for issues related to stem cells and vaccines. But it would be very interesting to have a debate show. Would you like it? That would suck, says Compute. Somebody, wait, what? Somebody says nice. Somebody says I hate. Oh. I can change it, don't worry. Okay. Let's see what I'm going here. There are a couple of people in the chat room, in the phone. So I'm going to take the call of Southwest Ohio. Are you on the line?
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How's it going?
Great. So do you have any ideas for the Science Hour and where we should go with the next year, or what you've thought of shows that you might have seen previously?
Yes, I'm kind of new to the Twit network as well. I've seen a bunch of the different shows done, and I've seen a couple of your episodes. And I realize that a lot of people come on, or you have a lot of people come on, and they sit in front of their computer, and you discuss issues and topics and such. I was wondering, perhaps, could there be a chance for, if they're working on a certain project, or if you're talking with one of the people that you usually talk with, if there could be some opportunity for showing actual experiments, or such as with the topic as the oil spill, instead of having an expert on their computer chatting with you about it, if they could be like walking around with a laptop showing different stuff, or some people showing off their own work and stuff like that. But I mean, I realize that for the audio quality and stuff like that, studio is preferred, but.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of Skype guests, so it might be, it would, if people are using a webcam on a laptop, it would definitely be possible with a USB headset for them to wander around with their laptop to point the webcam in the laptop to different things in their labs. So that is definitely something that we could incorporate it and make it a little bit more dynamic, get a little bit, more action, I guess. Get to show people what's going on.
I mean, I was watching some stuff, and when you're showing off the news stories and stuff, you'll go like show links on websites and some YouTube videos or something like that. So I just thought, I don't know, maybe it's a little more interactive.
I like that idea. Thank you. That could be a lot of fun. So you're calling in from Southwestern Ohio, is that right?
Yes, Cincinnati. I'm a student at UC.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for calling in, and have a good summer break, I guess.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. I'm going to take another caller right here, and after this, we may have a word from our sponsor. But in the meantime, I'd like to say hi to Northern Middle Tennessee. Are you there?
Hi, Dr. Kiki. Yes. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I just want to, I love watching you. I love the types of topics that you've had in the past. I loved Ray when he was there.
Yeah.
I would just think maybe I'm not an educated person, so some of the experts get a little bit deep for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like the last caller, if maybe there was a little bit more hands-on or that type of thing going, then I could stay with you longer. You tend to lose me because of that. I'm not as educated as maybe some of the other Twit army, so to speak. But
Yeah.
I love watching you.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy watching, and that you do watch. I do. I know when I schedule things that not every topic is going to make everybody, super excited and be something that they're going to want to sit and listen to me talk about for an hour. And there are definitely some topics that are way more difficult to get than others. And I do understand that. That's part of one of the problems with having a show where every episode is dedicated to one particular topic. But it's also, I think, a fun challenge. So I will try and do what I can to make topics more the more geeky, the more esoteric topics a little bit more understandable. And if it involves having somebody wander around with a video camera, or send me videotape of whatever they're doing, I will do what I can.
I sometimes your experts seem to be like the lab coat type scientists, and I appreciate that. I mean, that's what we need in the world. But I'm coming here to get educated also, but also to be a little bit entertained by it as well. But,
yeah.
I love watching it.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your call.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate the fact that people are calling in and giving me their opinions and letting me know what you think. This is what the feedback that I need to make a better show. And sometimes it is hard, and I forget the entertainment factor is something that is very important to keep all of you entertained and involved. I see New York has just called in. Can you give me 1 second? I need to do a quick word from our sponsor. And I'd like to thank Carbonite for sponsoring this hour of Dr. Kiki's Science Hour. Carbonite is actually a wonderful makes up loofah carbonate. Anyway, a wonderful compound. Carbonite, however, is the leader in online backup. Unexpected computer disasters happen all the time. Goodness knows I have forgotten to hit save or backup and lost photo archives or music libraries many times myself. And when it happens, it's devastating. And sometimes it's a hard drive failure that you had nothing to do with, a virus that infected your machine. But we risk losing really important files that we need for personal reasons, business reasons, whatever they happen to be. These things that live on our computers, sometimes they're at risk. And that's why we here at Twit recommend backing up with Carbonite. And it's safe, it's easy, and it's an automatic backup for your PC or your Mac. So whichever platform you use, you are going to be able to back things up. It's an online backup service. So Carbonite helps to protect all of those valuables from loss. It's safe. The files are encrypted before they leave your computer. It's easy to use. Whether you're a computer novice or a total tech head, you'll be able to understand it. It'll be just simple for you to go through the interface and set your machine up to back up. It backs up automatically whenever you are connected to the internet. So if you're using your laptop, that you're only connected sometimes, it will back up when you do go online, when you do connect. And you can get your files back in just a few clicks. Because they're backed up off-site, you can access these files from any location, from any computer. So if you're taking your laptop with you from place to place and you deleted something on accident and you need to get it back, but you know it's in the backup on Carbonite, wherever you are, you can get that file. So even if you're on your iPhone or your BlackBerry, the offer for you all who are watching or listening to Dr. Kiki's Science Hour right now is that you can try it for free. So you can get unlimited backup for your PC or Mac for only $55 a year. It comes down to like 15 cents a day. So it's just a drop in the bucket, really, when it comes down to making financial decisions to how to save your data. You can try it for free, though. So go to carbonite.com and enter the offer code Kiki. That's right, carbonite.com. Enter the offer code Kiki, and you get to try it for free. And if you decide to buy the service after your free trial, you get 2 months for free. That's 2 months. So you get to try it for free, and then you get 2 months for free. And all you have to do is go to the website carbonite.com, the offer code Kiki, and sign up. It's really easy. There's no credit card required right off the bat for the free trial because you're not buying anything right away. You're trying it out. and you sign up for the free trial from the homepage to get the 2 months for free. But you have to remember to use the offer code Kiki. So I would like to thank this longtime supporter of Twit and now this wonderful sponsor for Dr. Kiki Science Hour. Goodness knows scientists have all sorts of data they need to back up. Thank you for sponsoring Dr. Kiki Science Hour. And once again, go ahead, go to carbonite.com, offer code Kiki, free trial, and 2 months for free if you sign up. Now back to all of you and your suggestions. New York. I lost New York going to the ad. I'm so sorry. Dr. Mom is trying not to give individual medical advice in the TalkShoe chat room. Nice. Can I back that up, Dr. Kiki? You're funny. People in the chat room are funny sometimes. You are watching Dr. Kiki's Science Hour. I'm Dr. Kiki, and this is my show. We're trying to find out how I can make the show better and what I can do for all of you, bringing in guests, talking about science, and creating something that everybody can enjoy. I had an email from Greg, who works at the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. Hello, Greg. It's awesome to hear from you. He said more particle physics. I'm not surprised, coming from the National Lab, that somebody there with a PhD would be interested in particle physics. I agree. Love particle physics, and I will do what I can to get particle physics into the show. Another caller, another emailer, Kenan, who is a teacher, a middle grade science and mathematics teacher who works for Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools, has been using my food science podcasts to teach her students for a few years, which I think is awesome. And she finally looked me up and found out that I was real. I'm real. I'm here. Yes. Poke, I'm real. So she checked the webcast, and she says the only thing she can think of is upgrading everything with a few more bells, whistles, and whoop sounds to make things a little bit more exciting. She enjoys the show, but some multimedia extras would help the show appeal to a larger group of listeners and viewers, and I definitely agree with that. So we'll try what I can to get some more multimedia stuff going on for the show. Let's see. There's nobody else. There are a few people in the chat room on TalkShoe, and let me check the chat room. If somebody would like to call in right now, the phone number is 1-724-444-7444. Caller ID that you enter once you get in there is 85027 followed by the pound sign. And disregard the PIN number that I put up earlier. That was not necessary, and my bad. Matsanoichi is writing in to say, in reference to the caller/voicemailer from Orlando, there's been a lot of research in water treatment using safe organic methods in disaster relief derived from fermented soybeans. So that could be something that is that could be part of a show. I'd love to do one show that kind of looks at the water purification, desalination issue from a global perspective, and maybe bring stuff like that up in a different way. More on nanomachines, says Web3123. Do we want more I keep thinking that the stuff people might want to hear most about are things that are going to affect our future. So issues related to nanomachines, nanomedicine, the future of technology, the future of what science is doing now to change the technology that we will be using in the future. That kind of stuff is fun. Unified field theory, maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. Digital radio communications, perhaps. Hurricanes, solar and wind power, gray goo. All sorts of ideas coming from people in the chat room. My Twitter account, I favorited a few comments from what people told me on Twitter. My Twitter account is Dr. Kiki, DRKIKI. And Arno Schmidt 70 says, want to see Ray too. Like I said, we'll bring in Ray. I'm going to bring Ray in. Don't you worry. A couple of congratulations. I want to say thanks to those of you who give me the congrats for doing a year of the show. Kiwi Nerd has been, I actually had her on the show once this last year, and it was great to have her on. And yeah, we're looking forward to much, much more awesomeness. Thomas Sully wants to have a show about 21st century farming science. The future, how science is helping to make organic farming better and cheaper. It could be interesting. I hear somebody who's on the line from South Texas. Hi there. Is South Texas there? Nope, South Texas was not interested, but Zombie 6 is. Are you there? I'm getting nothing. Nothing in return.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, I'm having a bit of a problem here.
Oh, I can hear you great
Dealing
now.
with it. Yeah, the headphones were not in properly.
That can make a difference.
Yes.
Hello.
So I was thinking you should have maybe the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe in.
That could be a lot of fun. Yeah, I had.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, I had Stephen Novella on a show once to talk about the MMR and autism link. So we talked a bit about the stuff that's going on there, debunking a little bit. But it would be fun to have maybe a couple of the Skeptic's Guide people on.
Yeah, I remember that show.
Mm-hmm.
I still do.
He's good.
I think I've listened to it.
He's a good talker. It was fun. That was a good one. I'm not against having return guests if they happen to be really good. And I think Stephen Novella is one who would be fantastic to bring back on.
Yeah, otherwise I agree with having Brian Dunning on, having some debunking done.
Yeah, I think when I think about doing debunking and I just want to make sure I'm bringing somebody in and we're going to have a polite conversation and that we're not going to insult anybody and that we're going to talk about the issue and talk about it in the sense of critical thinking, and that we're going to promote critical thinking in the process. We're going through the logic, the scientific steps, the thought process of why something works or why it doesn't work. And so I think it's just a matter of making sure that I think Brian Dunning would be a fabulous guest. He's got some wonderful, he's got some videos out, and his podcast, the Skeptoid podcast, is actually really done quite well. He puts a lot of hard work into what he does.
Yeah, I've had some contact with him about a podcast I was planning on doing, but is now on a sidetrack.
Yeah, a sidetrack, so that happens.
He's awesome. Well, school was on.
Yeah. What are you studying in school?
Actually, I'm a high school student still, so I've got a lot of things.
Yeah. What are you most interested in?
I think I'm probably gonna go to college and study English. We have some great programs for that, so.
Yeah, that could be a lot of fun. Not science, yeah. Even though I see you online all the time with the science interest.
Yes, well, it's either English or science. I'm not sure yet. I still have a year to decide. So,
excellent. And for the audience out there, will you tell everybody where you're calling from?
Actually, I'm calling from Slovenia.
Slovenia. I love the internet. This is fabulous.
I know.
So what time is it in Slovenia?
It's almost midnight here.
Yeah. I'm keeping you up late for science. In the name of science.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
It's great you moved to an earlier hour. Before you were on at like what? Midnight, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, and that's going to happen again. I have to tell everybody that that starting next week, I'm going to move the time slot of Dr. Kiki's Science Hour once again. So hopefully this is where it will sit for the relative future. Yeah. So it's
That
going
would
to
be
be
fun.
yeah, it's 4 in the after. It's going to be 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific time, Thursday afternoons. So still Thursdays, but 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific time starting next week, which will probably put you back in the middle of the night again.
Well, I'm on holiday now, so it doesn't matter.
Good.
It was a bit of a problem earlier, but
Yeah, well, the last thing that I would want to do is keep a high school student. Your brain is still in needing sleep mode, so I don't want to stunt your intellectual progress by keeping you up at night.
well, I compensated by the podcast version, so
Yeah.
I mostly listened to that one. That's
Right.
why I wasn't live everywhere.
Yes. Well, I'm going to move on. Thank you so much for calling me. I really appreciate getting to talk to you. We've interacted many times through Twitter, and you're always there for the Justin TV broadcasts as well. So thanks so much for calling in.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Good luck with all of your schooling, and have a great summer vacation.
Thanks.
You're welcome. That was fun. If anybody else wants to call in from Slovenia, the phone number is 724-444-7444. Caller ID 85027, followed by the pound sign. Guest 14 in the chat room in there says, I was wondering what I think of the hydraulic fracturing and what it's doing to people's water. That's another very interesting issue, and that could definitely be worked on. And in addition to that, Dr. Mom, I made a reference on Twitter recently to a book called Death by Rubber Duck, in which the authors of the book actually subject themselves to individual testing basically on themselves of various substances, compounds, chemicals that are in common everyday products, toothpaste, shaving cream, etc., and then measured what their body was absorbing and what it was excreting and what was ending up in their blood. I haven't read the book yet, so I don't know how much hype there is to it, but in terms of what they were doing, it's a really interesting question of how all the chemicals that we put in products are affecting us and whether they are actually having effects on our immune systems and the way that we exist in the world. I am running out of time here, unfortunately. It's just too bad. I'm going to finish this up while Tom Merritt comes in and sets himself up for TNT, which is on next. In addition, other people on Twitter have said more Ray Maxwell. There are lots of Ray Maxwell lovers out there. Dr. Mark Baker, who is from the UK, I believe, Trinity College, says the seat of the soul, modern theories of consciousness, the meaning of qualia, experiments, and evidence. Example given, change blindness. That could be interesting. Finite but unbounded, what we know about the scale and age of the universe and how we know it. And also evolution of the human brain, how simple gene changes created massive improvements in cognitive function in hominid species. And those are definitely some issues. Someone else says more psychedelic research. A conversation with Neil deGrasse Tyson. There are many Neil deGrasse Tyson fans out there, so I will definitely put that at the top of my list. And when we do so, we'll invite Tom to be part of that show as well. And then, I think that pretty much does it for Twitter stuff. I really appreciate everyone calling in and joining me today. It's been a lot of fun. Do we have time for one more caller, Tom? Fantastic. We have one more caller.
Take my call.
Adam
Hi.
12.
Hi, Dr. Kiki.
Hello.
It's Adam 12 from the chat room. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
Okay, so, Dr. Kiki, honestly, I rely on you with the PhD to make me smarter. So generally, I'm pretty happy to tune in and just do whatever you're doing. But I'll throw two suggestions out. I really enjoyed a lot of the talk about CERN and what they're doing up there.
Okay.
And in general, I'm fascinated by quantum physics and the idea that, our attention and perception can change, is beginning to show in science that it can change outcomes, things like that. So I just wanted to throw those two things out for you. Keep up the great work, Dr. Kiki.
Thank you. I appreciate. Thanks for calling in and giving me the ideas and suggestions. There has been some really interesting news recently about quantum entanglement and just a story that came out this morning from some, I think, National Science Foundation funded researchers published in Nature magazine about everyday objects being affected by quantum activities. So the example that one of the researchers gave was if like 10,000 particles, like atomic particles, were to shake and move a crystal, it would be a similar effect to a flea jumping on Mount Everest and moving it several meters. So
yeah, that's big stuff. So definitely interested in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I am too. So I will definitely follow that kind of stuff up, and we'll keep an eye on CERN. Totally. I think
absolutely.
Maybe we can get Dr. Brian Cox to come in. He's doing some.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
I'll let you go and tell Tom Adam 12 said hi from the chat room. Keep up the great work. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much. Now, I'm going to have to call it the end of this hour. We're going to have to pull all of this interactivity to a close, unfortunately. I'm going to terminate my talk shoe call. End of the call. I would like to thank everybody for calling in and being a part of the show. Maybe this is something that we can incorporate in future episodes so that when I have guests, you can call in and ask questions, because I don't have all the questions. I don't have all the answers. But it would be great to have you interact with the people that I'm talking with here on the show as well. So hopefully there will be more of this. And you in the chat room, thank you for all of your comments as well. I'm going to try and take as much as I can into consideration and create a great show for you for this next year. One more year. Let's make it one more year. All right. Let's do many more science hours, many more science conversations, and let's bring science to the world, right? Right. I'm Dr. Kiki, and this has been the Science Hour. Next week, we, of course, are going to be talking about more science. Yes, we love the science. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you will join me and whoever is here on the air with me next week. And you can catch up with past episodes at twit.tv/Kiki if you are interested in doing that. You can tweet me at Dr. Kiki on Twitter. You can find me at drkiki.tv on the interwebs. There's a Facebook fan page out there somewhere or another as well. Google me. You'll find me. But don't let this be the end of your suggestions. Please email me as well. You can email me at drkiki@drkiki.tv. Also, just make this one more hour of science every week. But you don't have to make it only 1 hour. Science is a part of everybody's life, but this hour and others like it just make your life more interesting and more fun. So stay tuned until next week and keep the science going.